在今天的节目当中呢，我们特别为您邀请到的是加州主计长的候选人 Dr. Lonnie Chen. Hello, Dr. Chen. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Well, first of all, congratulations on your primary. And for folks that are not very familiar with your background, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up in Southern California. I grew up in Rowland Heights, and my parents are immigrants to the U.S. from Taiwan. And I spent my childhood growing up in Rowland Heights in Southern California, and then went to Harvard and got 4 degrees from Harvard University, including my bachelor's degree, master's, a law degree, and then a PhD in political science. And then for several years served in the U.S. government. I worked for President George W. Bush on healthcare issues. I worked with Governor Mitt Romney when he ran for president. I was his chief policy advisor. And then after that, came back to join the faculty at Stanford University, and I'm a fellow at the Hoover Institution. So for the last 9 years, I've lived in the Bay Area with my wife and our 2 children. And I've been teaching public policy. I've been researching public policy. I've also started my own small business and been involved in investing in other businesses as well. So my background is in a little bit in politics, a little bit in policy, a little bit in academia for the last couple of years, and now I'm running to be the next state controller of California. One of the biggest challenges I think we have is that we don't spend taxpayer money in California very wisely. The reason I'm running for controller is because the controller is kind of like the chief financial officer of California, but it's the state official who can really bring accountability and transparency to our state government. And so this is a very, very important role. It's not a role that reports to the governor or reports to anybody else. You actually are responsible only to the people, to the taxpayers of California. Let me tell you, my first priority is to make sure that we can see every single dollar of state spending transparently. California is the only state in America where we don't have the state's checkbook online. You can't go and see where all of our money is spent. We spend $300 billion per year, and there's no transparency around that spending. So the first thing we need to do is to bring transparency to every single dollar of state spending. Number 2 is the controller can audit any program in California at any time for any reason. So we need to get to the bottom of where all the money is going on homelessness spending. You mentioned our schools. You know, we're spending so much money on our schools, but they don't seem to be getting better. In fact, in many places across our state, the schools are not performing as well as they did 10 or 15 years ago. So we need to figure out with all of this spending why those problems aren't getting any better. Let me give you one other area, public safety. In too many parts of our state, unfortunately, the recent crimes against Asian Americans have become more and more visible. And at the same time, you have people out there talking about defunding the police. Well, I oppose that concept, because I think it's very important that we understand exactly how it is that we're funding public safety, and we should be supporting law enforcement, not working against them. So I would love to bring true transparency and accountability and demanding results for our spending in all of these areas.